All right, the next video, the last giveaway winner. This is an artist named Fiji. George Fiji Vicoso, a celebrated Fijian singer that created a unique Lost Coast sound that blends reggae, R&B, and traditional island rhythms. Fiji is known as one of the most original and dynamic entertainers the Pacific Rim has produced, who continues to be one of the most influential artists in contemporary island reggae music. Now, that is the general context of who Fiji is. However, unfortunately, just a couple days ago, Fiji passed away. Now, the request came through on Patreon literally, I think it was either the day before or 2 days before this happened. They sent me a message, hey, I've been dying to introduce this person's music to you, and I finally got my chance. Here's the video I want you to watch. Got it, put it in the list, good to go. 2 days later, unfortunately, Fiji passed away, so I'm glad I had an opportunity to share his music with you. And that's that. So that is the context around this. I actually don't know who is Fiji in this thumbnail. We're going to find out pretty soon, because this is Fiji with Lonely Days, live at Homecoming, featuring Boog.
Let's take it there.
Love that sound.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
so that's Fiji.
Yeah. I know that we mutually agree, for better, for worse, unconditionally. Time and space did not allow us succeed the way that we thought our love life would be. Every time I see that smile on your face, it brings me so much joy in my eyes. Yeah, takes me back to the very first time when you said you wanted us to start. Lady, I apologize.
Oh.
For all those lonely days and those restless nights without me by your side. And when you cry, 'cause my insensitivity didn't see the sign, when all I wanted was to make you smile.
Ooh, nice.
To look at even me, but he was only right to set your heart free. 'Cause what me have to do but not let it be. I believe that our reality is just a memory.
Every time I see that smile on your face, it brings me so much joy in my eyes. Yeah. Takes me back to the very first time when you said you wanted.
I didn't want it to end. God, I feel so many things right now. Man. Honestly, I would have felt all these things, these goosebumps, these existential feelings, even if the news had not been passed that Fiji had passed, right? Like, even if that were not the case, I would still feel this. Oh, man, that was beautiful. I think it's interesting that a lot of what I was experiencing is kind of what a lot of you were experiencing. Like I think Perry had said, you know, I think it's really beautiful that music can bring people together like this. And that's kind of what I was feeling, like all these wonderful shots of the crowd, and you can feel the energy of this song, of this show, where it's like nothing. I mean, it's easy to say this when you have this bird's eye view of the performance and you're not like in the crowd when life is real, right? But it's like you, for a few moments, you kind of forget everything else and you forget about all the bad shit that's happened in the world. And you just kind of have this moment where it's like, this is a collective right now. And we're all here in this moment collectively as a community. I don't know you. I don't know you. I don't know that guy, but we're all kind of sharing the same experience. And there's something very community driven about that. Right. For a few moments, you're right there, and you're all right there. There's something really special about that. One thing that I've talked about, which I really love that we do now, and it was not always the case, but we've done a very good job here of opening the floodgates into the rest of the world, where we're not just watching K-pop, we're not just following American artists, we're literally traversing the global stage of art and music and following and experiencing people like this. Like, what I love about this is literally as if we were dropped into a culture. Bam, here you go. And it's our responsibility to observe that, try to feel it and respect it as best we can, and just get an idea of what that culture looks like and feels like. Now, I will admit to you wholeheartedly, I have not always done that perfectly. And the first thing that I think about is when I watched like one of the first couple of performances, and it might have been the first one, the first introduction I got to Dimash. He sang this incredible song with this incredible voice. And then at the end, people just kind of, and I was like, why are you standing up? What's wrong with you? Get on your damn feet and show that guy some respect. Well, that was wrong, because that's me inserting my culture into their culture. And that's not how it works, right? It's completely different. It doesn't work that way. So for something like this, oh, I'm really going to go off on a tangent. So you buckle up, people. I love being in America. I do. I love being an American, but one of the things that I think is not great, and there are a few things, every culture, every country, every nation, every people, every village and tribe has their goods and bads and quirks and whatever. But as an American, one of our greatest things in America is that we are the melting pot. We are a blend of kind of everybody, and that's great. I love that. There's a beauty in the diversity. But the other side of that coin that makes me sad is that as an American, my culture is very American culture. And when you think about that, maybe this is just me, but generally speaking, when you think of American culture, you think of like giant food portions and gluttony and like excess and waste, and that is the American culture. Now you take other cultures that exist, and a lot of times, and maybe it's easy for me to say this because I don't know the ins and outs of each culture, so I'm only getting these bird's eye views of them, but so many cultures are so community based and so like family based. You know, they follow their generations down the bloodlines and they take care of each other through those years and through those generations. You have generations of families living together. And I don't know that I would want that right now, but I do respect that. And I think there's something really, really beautiful about that. Like when you see Fiji up here, he's from Fiji. I have to assume that his singers, and I don't know if this is actually in Fiji. Let's see. Fiji's Homecoming 2024 tour. So I'm assuming this is actually in Fiji. Plus they had Fiji water, which was a nice touch. But I have to assume that Fiji with his group, and if he starts to get this more global notoriety and then go out into a bigger stage, there's probably part of his culture, his DNA that's going to be like, hey, we're going bigger. I want to bring as many people as I can with me. Not just like bandmates and singers and stuff, but like I want people to know what the Fijian culture is like. I want them to experience the beauty of our culture. I think there's something really beautiful about that. Videos like this, yes, it's technically just a guy on people on a stage singing. They're singing his song, and then you have the Fijians in the crowd, and that's really beautiful. But there's so much more messaging that can be taken from us being able to experience this moment. I really, really love this. And I know the grass is always greener. You know, it's easy for me to say like, yeah, I wish American culture was more family oriented or, you know, community based. And honestly, again, maybe it's a generational thing. Maybe it's me at my age or my upbringing or just my general experience. But I feel like American culture is a lot more introverted these days, a lot more self-centered, self-absorbed, self-obsessed. Like this is kind of our culture now. Now, we have really great things about our culture too, but it's hard to deny when I see things like this, where this beautiful community-based culture, where it's like you make best friends when you see somebody that's like, hey, I'm from Fiji too. You're Fijian? Huh. Now, maybe I would feel that way if I were in Fiji and I saw an American and I'm just really mixing up my, my brain waves here, but I don't know. Yeah, that was really the rush of thoughts that I had. So yeah, grass is always greener because I don't know if I would want that, I don't know if I want to live in a community-based society right now. I've known enough people that for me, I like to give. I like to be part of a community because I can help people. But there's also the other people sometimes that have the different mentality of community where it's take. And again, maybe that's an American way to look at it, but that's one thing I've seen. And it's hard to traverse that emotionally as a part of a community when you start to identify people that are not balanced in give and take. They're just more take. And then you feel exploited. And so we're getting off on a whole tirade. But the point is, this was beautiful. It was magical. And as much as I hate the fact, like this was the introduction that I had to Fiji, I don't know if I could have picked a better video, a better experience, a better moment for this to be the first one to experience his music and his art. I loved this. I loved everything about this. And the fact that it sparked this whole existential conversation for me is proof that what Fiji was trying to put out into the world, I think landed. I think it landed with the people that were ready to receive it and ready to have a constant reminder of how beautiful it is to have moments like this and be able to share art with each other. Yeah. Tangent end. Tasha, was that you? Was that your request? Tasha, babe. That's how I'm going to say your name from now on. Tasha, babe. Yes, it was. Well, Tasha, thank you for sharing that with us. I think that was an awesome, awesome introduction to Fiji and Jay Boog for that matter. Do you think Jay Boog doesn't like it when Fiji calls him Boogie? I mean, he probably don't care, but I'd be like, don't call me Boogie and don't call me Booger. It's J Boog. Boog is fine. Not Boogie. Like, hey, you got a little Boogie. No. Yeah, I'm sure he does love it. I would like it too. Stop calling me Booger. Tell you what, J Boog's voice though, when and I love, this is one thing I forgot to say because I got wrapped up. I love his voice. I love the way he presented so passionately. Both him and Fiji, their performances are so good. Right? I loved his voice and his presence on stage. I love that Fiji made him do it again. But one of my favorite things about this performance, one of my favorite things is Fiji sitting in his chair and he's directing the band as he goes. Right? So at one point, he puts his hand over to the guitarist and he just goes like this. And because every musician is watching Fiji. They have to play off of him. So when he reaches over his hand to the guitarist and does this, everybody knows, okay, this is the guitarist moment. So we're going to support the guitarist. And then the guitarist does a solo and just lets him roll. And eventually, as we start to feel the energy kind of die down from that solo, he leans back and he gives it to the drums. And he even does this, like, hey, you got me? I don't know if you can see me, but give me some of this. Now the drummer takes over for a little bit. He's directing everything as he goes. And then back to the piano. Piano just goes. Love that. That is the beauty of live music. It's happening now. It's not orchestrated down to the T, down to the minute, where if you know the studio version of the song, you could sing it and it's got to be exact. No, let the music, let the band, let the energy of that moment have a life of its own. Like when I make my videos and I'm dealing with clients, I tell them, like, look, there are I just say movies. There's 3 movies that are going to happen from this. There's the movie I'm going to write, there's the movie I'm going to shoot, and there's the movie that's actually going to be the end. That's going to be the final product. And they go, well, why does it have to be 3 different ones? I said, because this is art. This is going to be a living, breathing project that I'm not forcing into a mold. I need to build some kind of structure, and then at some point, it's going to gain a soul. And I have to tame that thing and find out where it wants to go. And it's my job to just keep it tame so it becomes some kind of representation of your end goal. Maybe not what you foresaw in the beginning, but I know what you're trying to accomplish. I have to tame this monster so in the end, when you sit down and you watch it, you go, oh, that is not what I expected, but that is everything. Boom. That's how we do it. Live music, live performances like this, they should be that. They should be that energy of itself where the musicians are there to ride that moment. Not force it, not drive it, ride that moment and let all of these people that are here to experience be part of that driving force. Yeah.